Twitch, are you still there? Oh, yes! Do we have victory at last? Oh my gosh, we have victory at last. All right. I think hopefully we have figured this out in a way that does not cause me to break things next time also. All right, let's make sure everything's set up correctly. We can get into game and we can have some fun. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, so far so good. We're gonna change this to be this. Great. Okay. Okay. I think we're good. Hello, everyone. Endak, thank you for the gifted sub.
I love this show.
I think... Uh-oh. Did I break it? No, I didn't break it, right? We're all here still? I'm a professional. No. This is your proof that I am literally learning how to do this as I go. I am actively Googling tutorials every time I do any of this. All right. Everything seems to be up and ready, which means it's time to actually play the game. Hello. Great. We did it. We did it. Wait, you know what's not up is my bots. I'm sure those would be helpful. Hello everyone. So how are we feeling? I'm hoping that we get a dev workshop this week. I feel like that's wishful thinking. I feel like that's wishful thinking. I would love to be wrong, but I don't know. I don't know. The closer we get to what I assume will be the release of P16, the more I assume that they're going to release the dev workshop like almost immediately before the update. It's looking more and more like the dev workshop is going to be something that accompanies the update, not like an opportunity to give feedback before the update, which kind of makes sense. Like at the point that we're in, you know, it will be, here's an explanation of how everything is supposed to work. Now go test it out, like actually get your hands on it and tell us what you think, which makes a lot of sense because it can be very hard to like see a description of a thing and then know how that will actually play out in game. So I will not be at all surprised if that is the intended route with the dev workshop. So yeah. Stream overlay. All right. Cool. What is going on with my... How is my YouTube stream looking to y'all? Is it looking okay? Can you actually see what I'm doing? Trying to see the extent to which what my stream shows and what your stream shows are the same thing. Oh no, it looks good. Okay, great. Well, I'm just not going to leave that open because that's not showing me what's really there. Cool, thank you so much. I'm so glad that it actually looks like... Thanks, thank you. I appreciate the checking. I have far more faith in you guys to report what's going on than I have in my own capacity to understand what's happening. Okay. I don't need that. You see the game. A stream overlay. Cool, Skull. Definitely curious what you have in mind there. All right. Do I have a plan for today? I think my plan for today is to... I have the best stuck blessing ever. I have a increased harvest yield stuck blessing, which means that realistically what I should be doing is just the glades over and over again. I should just do the glades all day. Are we all on the wait train? We are. We are waiting for P16. I mean, there's definitely stuff to farm while you wait. Because temper crafting is going to come in the next update. When is Prelude 16? We don't know. None of us really know. We have a possible joke from Steve that it would be sometime around September 4th. But like sometime around. So it is not guaranteed to be September 4th. It is hopefully sometime soon. Are you Ruthos? You are not Ruthos. You are Ruthos. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Twitch, for having to see double ads because of my stream start fail. Yeah. Oh. You found a Moonsteel Blitzel right before the end of the last stream. Amazing. Congratulations. I have the... Okay, here's the question. Do I use... No, I should wait. I have 4 Chaos Cordstones left, and I have a Moonsteel Blitzel that was gifted to me by Springroll. We have a little agreement that we are going to help each other get friend bows. So... The question becomes, do I roll my Moonsteel Blitzel with the Chaos Cordstones to try to get a better roll to start with? Or do I accept that it's already legendary and just hope that changing almost every temper won't be that bad? P16 is next month. Hopefully P16 is early September, but we don't know for sure. Does Orlick quest progression have any known bugs? Probably. I'm gonna be real. There's a lot of bugs in Soulframe right now. There are a lot of bugs in Soulframe right now. I think my theory is that they are pushing bug fixes into P16. They know that a new build is coming. They know that a lot of stuff is going to change. And so I am assuming that they are pushing all of the fixes into the next update rather than spending a bunch of time patching a build that's not going to be around for much longer. Whenever we get close to an update, this is typically what we see, that we'll get a period where there aren't many hotfixes and bugs just kind of sit in the game. And then when the new update rolls out, all of the bug fixes that we have been waiting for will end up in the next update. So that is what I would assume. Yeah. Can people give founders packs to other players? Not at the moment. This is something that we have been asking for quite a while, and we haven't heard an update on why that wasn't enabled or if it would be enabled. Yeah, I wish that you could. If you could gift founders packs, then we would be doing founders giveaways for sure. But alas, we cannot. You have high hopes on changing temper costs not being astronomical. I'm kind of expecting the cordstone that you need in order to change tempers to be... I'm kind of expecting that it's going to require rhapsodics. I would love to be wrong. If I'm wrong, then I'm gonna have a ton of legendary weapons to give away. But I'm kind of expecting that it's gonna. Oh, you don't have high hopes. Okay. I was like, Catastrophe, I'm so sorry. Yeah. When is P16? P16. I should start a timer, a chat timer. When is P16? We don't know when P16 is yet. Probably early September. I want to say any day now, but probably early September. Yeah. Mixed Virtue Oshelda. This is a full Grace Oshelda. Because I like playing bow so much, I almost always run full Grace builds. At the moment, the multipliers that you get from Grace for headshots is so strong. Also true for stealth, but I don't tend to sneak up on stuff that much. Your headshot multipliers are so strong that if you play with a bow, you really just want to run Grace. Grace is just stronger than every other virtue on a bow by far. No contest. They did explicitly say customer temper customization would be on legendaries. Yes, they did explicitly say that. So we are going to need to have the weapon be legendary before we can customize tempers. But the question that we're all kind of like waiting on is, if you look at, oh my goodness, my hand's not in the right place on my keyboard, if you can't tell. If you look at the dev stream screenshot of temper customization, like what they showed us, you see a cordstone, like a switcheroo cordstone icon. Now, I don't know that that could be a placeholder for all we know. So there's no guarantee that that icon is the icon for whatever we get in the game. But the implication is that we need some type of cordstone type thing, a switcheroo cordstone, that is going to enable us to switch tempers on our legendary weapons. And so then the question is, what do we need to craft that? What does that cost? Are we going to need to further refine rhapsodic cordstones? Is there going to be something else? I don't know. Hello, NMC. I'm currently trying out this game with my newly switched Linux, so I might get back to run bows and perhaps fix my aim. I love aiming bows. Yes, I love aiming bows. I love the mechanics of how bows shoot. I don't love how the melee camera keeps interfering with ranged combat, but hopefully we get a fix for that in P16. That is swiftly becoming like higher and higher on my list of things I want in Soulframe, because every time I have to test something, like getting my testing done is just such a pain with the reticle issues. It should be so. Yeah, it's interesting that there's like a mixed amount of responses about the cordstone and tempering. About some people think that it should be higher than rhapsodic. Some people think that the cost is too high already. You know, I think when people are split on something, that's usually an indication that they've hit a good medium where it's good for some folks and it's not good for others. Yeah, I don't know. And do I know about what we're going to need to do with tempering? I don't know anything. I don't know anything that you guys don't know about how tempering will work. You know, are we going to need to destroy a weapon with the temper in order to replace one? I don't know. We know that we will have to destroy a weapon with the tempers we want Tuvalkane to learn at some point. But we don't know at all, is that going to be a permanent unlock? Is it going to be consumed? We don't know. We have no clue. We have no clue. When P16 is dropping, we don't know. It says early September. I put my stream title to waiting for P16 because I feel like that's what we're all doing. And now I'm worried that people are assuming that I have news about when P16 is going to drop or like it's going to drop today. And no, it is not going to drop today. I guarantee you P16 will not drop today. I should add that to my stream title just in case. Okay, sir. I should add that to my stream title just in case. For P16 dropping yesterday? Amazing. Will P16 feature the new Fable, or is that on a later update? That is a later update. P16 will be legendary crafting, so changing tempers on legendary weapons. It will be puppy bonding, so the process by which you bond with your wolf pup and grow your wolf into a rideable wolf. I don't know if we will be able to actually ride the wolf or not. But we know that the bonding process at a minimum is going to be in P16. And fishing will be in P16. And then presumably, like hopefully also bug fixes. And honestly, if that is all the content we get in P16 and everything else is just bug fixes, I will be happy. That is a good update for us. That is going to really help the game, and that will put us in a better place to have stuff ready for P17. PR gang, let's go. She's so cute. She's so cute. IG rebellious teenage wolves incoming. Oh my gosh. Imagine. Ooh, if there's no chest down here. I don't see a chest down here. Maybe there will be a chest in the secret tunnel. What is the best way to get legendaries right now? Well, the higher level the content, the more like the higher, the better chance you have of finding a higher craftwork tier weapon. But the ooh, there's 2 in here this time. Let's go. But it's not a guarantee. It is not a guarantee. So you're still kind of at the whims. I think the best way to get a legendary right now is to craft it. It is what it is. I don't think that that's the worst thing though, because if it were easier to get, like significantly easier to get legendaries in like Koga mode, a lot of people would be upset about it. There's a lot of folks out there who don't want to have to do Koga in order to get the same stuff in the game. So I think that at the moment, it's the drop chances are in a pretty okay place of you do get a benefit from running Koga and fighting higher level enemies, but it's not so much of a benefit that it's effectively your only way to get what you want, right? Like it's I think it's well tuned at the moment. Still trying to get used to this company showing me cool things that I can't have for 6 months. You know, this was true last year too. I wonder if this has to do with TennoCon, right? Because most of the time, the time between, you know, we're announcing the next prelude and like giving you some information on what's going to go, and then that prelude actually going live. Most of the time, it's really not that bad. But last year after TennoCon also, we waited a very long time for the next prelude. Do you remember like the wait for Bromius was wild? We saw Bromius at TennoCon, and then we all like that we were going crazy. Does Courage and Spirit have a similar attribute to Grace Headshot? Kind of. So Courage gives you a lot of HP. Courage gives you a lot of health, and so it makes combat a lot easier if you're in melee. And I do think that the amount of health that you get from courage is enough that courage is in a pretty okay place. Like, you do get value for courage. And the headshot multiplier is less relevant for melee weapons anyway. Hello, Hester. So since you don't really need as much, you don't really need as a big headshot multiplier when you're playing melee weapons, I think that courage actually does end up being a better virtue for melee combat. So I think that's fine. I think that what courage offers is good. However, we're going to talk about just courage and grace first, and then we're going to talk about spirit. Oh, let me kill the Reaper, and then I'll hop into Nightfold so we can actually put numbers to this, right? Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Reaper. Oh, okay. Now that guy is not actually where he is. Where are you actually? Thanks. Hi. Can you stop having a bubble, please? No? No? Hey, at least I got my Wisp Egg. Alright, there we go. You just had a bubble and you put another bubble on. Bro. Okay. Okay. As you can see, on this full Grace build, I'm really not that glassy. Now, granted, I am not in Koga at the moment, but I'm not that glassy. I am in, like, the northeast corner of the map fighting an Agari, so you would think that I would be at least a little glassy. Ooh, it's an Apex! Oh. That's not great, but it's, you know, it's better than it could be. We're just gonna be happy with at least 1 or 2 usable timbers there. Okay. All right. So we want to talk about virtue balance, because they have talked about. Oh, the other thing that they said might be coming in P16 is virtue changes. Sorry, not virtue changes, but balance changes. Now, what those balance changes are, we don't really know. I'm kind of hoping that they end up being virtue related, because let's see if I can give an example here. All right, Mockery, fully charged body shot against that Mockery is 303. Is that the same level? I don't know. This might not be the same level. All right, fully charged body shot against this Mockery. Oh, never mind. I just killed him. RIP. Well, we can go find some enemies to shoot to give better examples. But do you guys even have weak points? Like, do you have a face that I can shoot? Who knows? Like, I feel like I've been trying to get out of this glades for a while now. Okay. Okay. Need to see feedback throughout suggesting that spirit should have a higher health than grace, and that has been my position for quite a while. I feel like one of the many things that I think ought to happen is that if they want to make Grace the glass cannon with all of the headshot and stealth multipliers, okay. But then it needs to be the glassiest. If their whole premise about Grace is that we're supposed to be the glass cannon virtue, then actually make us glassy. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to change the title because I am waiting for P15. I'm going to change my stream title right now. Let's see if I do it here, if it's going to break. Not today. We're going to put that in parentheses. It should be fixed on Twitch right now. Is it fixed on Twitch right now? Yeah, and now I'm gonna fix it on YouTube also. Because now I feel bad because it's like I was being quite literal, as in like I am waiting for P16. It is not today. I'm afraid to do it through. I'm gonna do it this way. Not today. All right. Did I break any of the streams? Did I break any of my streams? Hopefully everything is still working correctly. Twitch looks fine. Let's make sure that this is looking fine. Hello? Okay. Great. YouTube also looks fine. You can see my game and everything. Looks normal. Great. Good. I don't want to be clickbaiting people into things. I was just thinking literally about like, where is my head at right now? My head is at waiting for P16. That's really like, what am I doing in game right now? I'm farming stuff. I'm collecting materials. I'm trying to make sure I have all of the crafting things that I need in order to be ready for P16. I'm like, that's really, so like my whole mode in game right now is waiting for P16. All right. So let's look at virtues. There will be vegan fishing. Yes. Yes. Okay. So here's my full spirit build, right? It says I'm going to have 301 health. If I go up to full grace, I get up to 394. So it's 100 more health for going in full grace. And it's not even, this is not even, all right, let's take off this to make it even more realistic. All right, there we go. So 265. And then full grace takes us up to 358. So yeah, it's like almost 100 health for going from spirit to grace. And then 550, 544 for courage. Like courage does give you a lot more. So if you're playing a melee weapon and you don't need to worry about like super high charged caps for magic or ranged weapons, courage does make combat a lot easier. It makes you a lot tougher. It gives you the ability to survive. You're not losing out on a ton of damage because while melee weapons can headshot, they can headshot from thrown attacks, and they do get the like bonus scaling damage that magic and bows get, but they get it from perfect throws, which most of the time that's just not what folks are looking for when they're fighting with a melee weapon, right? Like they want to just do melee combat, which makes perfect sense. So I think that at the moment, your courage is in a pretty good place in terms of what it offers. However, there's a big caveat to that. The problem comes like with so many things in the game right now. The problem happens when we get into scaling up to high level content. Spirit gives you cooldown reduction. That's what spirit is supposed to get in return for, you know, putting your points into this virtue, and you get way less health, and you theoretically you get cooldown reduction for your arcanics. In P15, that's not super valuable because we're in such a smite heavy meta where it's so easy to proc and pull smites, and smites also give you cooldown reductions in your arcanics. So getting that from going full spirit just isn't that valuable. And you are very glassy. You are as glassy on spirit as Grace should be for how much damage Grace does. So, I don't know. I think that they have talked about how we need to have some balance for spirit. Like spirit needs some attention. I'm glad that they're looking at it. Looking forward to seeing what they come up with. Do you think they should also nerf Orengal armor set? No. Orengal armor set requires enough of a grind to get. I don't think that needs a nerf. I think the pensive set needs a nerf because there are, like on courage builds, it can be actually better to run the pensive set in some cases instead of, like, the pensive set is like wildly strong on some builds. Or no, sorry, spirit builds. It's spirit builds where, like, you know, we have Wazard armor, but if I'm going full spirit, the pensive set gives me better armor than the actual, this is supposed to be the magic armor. So I think the pensive's armor does need to be toned down. This is too strong for what it is. What else? So yeah, I think that right now, spirit's in the weakest place in terms of how much it offers for what you lose in health. And I don't think that that's a controversial take, and I think the devs are already aware of this and already looking at some adjustments. So I'm assuming, guessing, hoping that the combat, like the balance changes they talked about in P16 are going to involve something to make spirit better. I'm hoping that they also involve something to make Grace weaker. I say this as a staunch Grace, like obviously I'm running Grace on everything, and it's not because I necessarily love Grace so much, it's because right now the trade-off for running anything other than a Grace bow in Koga is just not worth it. Here's the thing. When you're playing mid-game content, early game you can play whatever you want. If you're new to Soulframe, you can play any build you want, any weapon you want, you are going to do fine. When you're new to the game, meaning like you have not yet finished your fables. If you haven't finished your fables yet and you're still working your way through the story, you can play any build you want and you will have fun. You will be able to complete the content. You will be able to enjoy the weapons you love. You're going to be great. Once you finish that and you get into mid-game, immediately, courage and grace will be stronger than spirit. Like once you get to mid-game, you're done with your fables, you're still grinding out gear, you're still trying to max out your 3 factions. You want to collect all the pacts. And you are going to find that courage and grace are more powerful than spirit. So again, happy that the devs are already on this. Once you get to late game, where you're wanting to challenge yourself by doing high level Koga. Now, do you have to do this? No, this is an opt-in experience. There's nothing, I mean, there are Koga runes that drop that you can only get from Koga mode, but you don't need to level up your Koga to get those runes. You can, pop a single Koga potion and kill one boss and get the Koga rune at the minimum Koga level. And the chances of the Koga runes dropping don't increase as you go higher level. So there's nothing that you have to grind your levels up for. So this is an opt-in experience, which I think is important to note. However, once you get into Koga and you get up against higher levels, your health being higher will be helpful. It will be useful to not die as easily when enemies are hitting you for a ton of damage. But if you can dodge to avoid damage, Like, if you know the enemy animations well enough to stay out of the way, if you have a good sense of your pact and your kit and like how to use your pact to deal with situations as they come up, it is going to take you so much longer to fight literally anything in high-level Koga on a courage build than on a grace build. Because look how much damage I'm doing to these guys. Like, this healer, right, should be a big problem. Like, that should be an issue. I should have to kill that healer before I kill anything else. But, like, if I get my headshots, it just doesn't matter. Because grace headshots are strong enough that, like, as long as I hit, I don't have to care about the healer. If I miss, it is a problem. But if I hit, the healer can be the last person that I shoot. And I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. I like that there's a reward for hitting headshots because I enjoy that challenge, but it means that high level Koga with a bow on a full grace build is way more efficient than any other build. Oh no, Morellian Online, I mean exactly what I say. Would you like to see my full grace Tethrin build? Let's do it. I run Tethrin on a full grace build. Wrong one. I run Tethrin on full grace. Yeah. Because the grace multipliers are so strong that even for, so like, okay, so here we want the like amazing, the most extreme outlier example. The most extreme outlier example of what you can do with a Grace Tethrin is the 3.6 million damage shot. Took a headshot on stream for 3.6 mil damage. Ooh, I missed my stack. And that was, with a full Grace Tethrin. I mean, it was with a full Grace Tethrin in a squad with a bunch of other things that are like not at all practical for regular gameplay. But yes, even my Tethrin right now I run on full Grace. Why? Okay, because how nerdy of an answer do y'all want for this? Someone was asking me earlier today in my Discord for like, how do you run the 3.6 mil damage build or whatever? And it's like, well, I could go through that, but it's not really practical for a normal gameplay. Nerdiest answer possible? Sure. Okay. Let's talk through all of the things that I did to get that shot. Here's a thing that y'all need to know from the outset about doing that build and making that shot is that right now, multipliers are breaking in Soulframe and they don't always work. So you are not going to get reliable results from any of your multipliers. Hall of the Ancients and Fellas sometimes stack with each other and sometimes don't. I don't know why. I have not been able to figure out why. I did see a comment up there a little bit about stagger. All I'm going to say about that right now is stay tuned for a video this week, which may or may not have me crash out in the middle. But we will be talking. I will be talking about stagger this week. Okay. So, hello. So to do the full, the 3.6 mil shot, to do our 3.6 mil shot, what did I did? I started with, another music statue. Hold on, we have a chance at a juniper. This is very important. Let's talk about squad mates first, because that's the easiest, right? The basic concept, like the foundation for how to make a crazy, crazy high damage number is number one, we need to be in a full squad because you want as many party buffs as you can because party buffs are very, very strong. So in a full squad, to get the best out output possible. I'm going to be on Tethrin solely because that lets me see the damage number and record it on screen, right? The person taking the shot needs to be on Tethrin because Fellust remains the most powerful damage buff in the game. It's very, very, very strong, okay? So that's thing number one. I'm going to be on Tethrin. Number two, we want Oshelda. Because the second strongest damage buff in the game is the break multiplier from Bestone. When you attack a Bestoned enemy, Bestone applies a damage multiplier or damage buff of some variety. We think it's probably a multiplier or a like multiplicatively scaling addition of damage, unclear. Collector. And oh, it's a leaving collector because I'm too slow. So you are going to want to have a full courage Oshelda. Full courage because the stronger the more courage that Oshelda has, the stronger that break multiplier will be on Bestone. If you are the one playing Oshelda, if you are like wanting to go out on an Oshelda build to do great damage with your Bestone, you do not want to be on a courage build. If you're the person being the Oshelda, then what you want is grace because Bestone will make the enemy unalerted. And the grace multiplier against stealth enemy for stealth is stronger than the break multiplier you get from Bestone. So even if I'm not hitting a headshot here, like that's still going to give me more damage than I would get from just going full courage. And if you add the headshot multiplier to that, so it's like the stealth multiplier and the headshot multiplier, way stronger. So if you're playing a bow with Oshelda, you just want to be full grace because your birds are going to be crazy, your Bestone break is going to be crazy, everything's going to do a ton of damage. Oshelda loves grace so much right now, and Spirit loves Siren. Crazy. Anyway, staying on target. So because the person playing Oshelda for this crazy trick shot is not the one that is actually taking the shot, all we care about for the Oshelda build is that the person on Oshelda needs to be full courage because the break multiplier will look at the caster's courage, not the person who did the damage. So we need, in our squad, we need a Tethrin. We're going to talk about the Tethrin virtues in a second. We need an Oshelda that's full courage. And then we want squad buffs in the last two slots. This used to be Orangol casting Howl, but now it is Bravada. And Bravada makes this even crazier because Bravada is going to buff the highest virtue of everyone in the squad. Whereas Howl would only buff Grace. So you're going to have two full Spirit Bravadas. And right before you go to take your shot, the first Duello is going to cast Bravada. Nems, thank you so much for the gifted subs. I'm trying to give away traits. No, just kidding. There's really nothing secret about this. This is quite tedious to pull off. It's very funny when it happens. You're so welcome. All right. So your first Duello is going to cast Bravada. That's going to buff the spirit of the second Duello, who is then going to cast Bravada, and it's going to be an even stronger Duello. Bravada. Yes, the Duello buff stack. This is part of why I put in a feedback thread that like kind of details, here's how to nerf me. Please nerf me. So yes, the Bravada will buff the other Bravada. And then that Bravada is going to buff the courage of the full courage Oshelda, making the Oshelda's break multiplier even stronger. And then that Oshelda is going to bestone the target, and then the Tethrin will do a fully charged headshot on a bestoned target. So that is like the party setup for this, right? And you can push that even further with Noble Nestling if all of those allies also have Noble Nestling, the totem that gives you a virtue buff when you pull smites. Then right before you go to how we've like typically done this in the past. Thank you so much for the subs. Python, thank you for the gifted subs. Really appreciate you. So yeah, if you, I will answer the other questions in chat when I finish going through like how to do this shot. People keep asking for this, so I want to make sure that maybe I'll even put in like a timestamp in the description or something. Normally when we have done this, when we were trying to get this shot right, what we would do is we would have the duellos come along this side. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do, but that's fine. It really do be impractical. It is impractical, right? Like no one's running around taking casual 3.6 million damage shots in Soulframe. It's not, the power creep is not that bad. So normally what we would do is we take the shot right around here because there's a big group of enemies here. And so we would have the duellos come on the opposite side of the wall and proc a bunch of smites on these enemies here and pull smites to buff their spirit. Hopefully. It's kind of a gamble to see. And then open the gate and come through, and with their pre-buffed spirit, cast an even better buffed Bravada. It's a lot to set up to get it. Now, does that make a huge difference? Probably not. It probably makes a very, very small difference. But hey, every little bit counts. That's part of the fun, right? Okay, so now, what about our Tethrin build? How do we get the Tethrin build to work? Well, thing number one is you're going to use all 3 virtue potions because you want all 3 of your virtues. You want grace for damage scaling, for your stealth and headshot multipliers. You are going to be past the charge shot attunement cap, like past the attunement damage cap for your bow. So it's not like you're going to get more weapon damage, but there is no cap to how much you can get from your grace scaling. So the more grace you can get, the more damage you can get without end. So this is like thing number 2 that I feel like they need to nerf is like there needs to be a maximum to how much you can get out of grace. So that you're gonna get you're gonna take all 3 virtue potions. You're gonna have 1 so you can have more stacks from your Fellust. You're gonna have 1 so that you can get a better damage boost out of Call of the Ancients, and then you're gonna have 1 so you can get better stealth and headshot multipliers from your weapon damage. And then for your virtue, you just go full grace, especially if you have wild Tethrin. I'm not sure if you didn't have wild Tethrin, you would just sacrifice all of this so that you could max out all 3 of these and still go full grace. Because that's all that matters for taking this shot. And then you go full grace, and now you want to get up to just enough courage so that you can get 6 charges in your Fellust. The 6 charges in Fellust is the sweet spot. And if you have a virtue potion buffing your courage up to 18, you're going to be very close, and you can make the rest of that difference using Noble Nestling pulling smites. So you're going to go to some other group of enemies. The way that we were doing this is I was heading over here to Fort Kernhold. I was fighting the enemies here and pulling smites until I had enough courage to get 6 charges out of my Fellust. And it's kind of random because you can't control which souls you get when you pull those smites. And How long does the Noble Nestling buff last? It doesn't last very long, but it doesn't have to. Let me show you why. So like right now, if I cast Fellust, I haven't used a Virtue Potion or anything, so I should only have 5 charges. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's not enough. If I want to get the crazy, crazy numbers, I need a 6th charge of Fellust. So, I'm going to actually... Alright, what's my courage right now? My courage right now is 13. If I do Noble Nestling, now I'm up to 14. It's not that much. This is another part of why you want to use your Virtue Potion, is that the higher your Virtue is when you start, the better your buff you're going to get from the Noble Nestling. Right? So let's just, you know what? Let's do it. I have to do a run through. I hear jingles. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I do hear jingles. Who is it today? Zenith. Well, hello there. I will take your bundle of rare things, please. Thank you so much. I do sure love Rhapsodic Horde Stones. All right. So now I have, how much courage do I have now? Now I have 23. Why do I already, oh, because I have a buff from the wild Tethrin. This actually should be enough to give me 6 stacks, I think. They changed the Fellust thresholds, by the way. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, yeah. 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay, so you only need to get up. You don't need to get it that high. Having Wild Tethrin definitely helps. But realistically, the higher you can get your courage when you cast Fellust, the better, because it does make the multiplier a little bit stronger with every point of courage you have. So no courage is wasted on this build. The thing is, the buff for your courage doesn't have to last until you take the shot. Fellust just looks at your courage when you cast it, and then it saves that value for the entire length of the buff, like until you run out of charges. So all subsequent shots are going to look at what your courage was when you first cast Fellust, not what your courage is when you're taking that shot. Yes, it's snapshotted. So then once you've cast your Fellust, then I would just run over, then I would basically prepare my stacks. I would build up my stacks so that I have, is maximum buffs and am fully ready. Then once I have all of my stacks prepared, I can't touch anything, right? At that point, if I cast my Fellust, right? And now it's like, oh, well, now in order to buff my Grace with Noble Nestling, I have to proc Smite. But I also have to stack my Fellust. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I got lucky there. 4. Oh, I must have dropped a thing. Must have lost a buff somewhere. Or, oh, he blocked a shot. If a shot's blocked, it consumes 2 charges. So basically, I have to, stack all my charges and then not hit anything until I'm ready to take that last shot. And the only way to do that is to have my allies proc the smite and then spread the smites with spreading sploot and then pull as many smites as possible to buff my Grace as high as possible. That's how I got up to 690 Grace, which I think is definitely less Grace than the 3.6 mil shot. We had a crazy number of smites when I took that shot. Yeah, so that is how I did the 3.6 million shot, which, as you can tell from how long it took me to explain all that, is kind of complicated. It's kind of a lot. It's not a practical, you know, you're going to be doing this in your random gameplay, right? Does that make sense, chat? Did I skip over the end of that too fast, or does that make sense? Then I can get back to reading chat and actually responding to people. So, why a full Grace Tethrin instead of a full Courage Tethrin is a great question to ask, whether we're talking about 3.6 mil shots or whether we're talking about just like randomly playing Tethrin. Because even when I'm not in a squad to do crazy numbers, I'm still running a full Grace Tethrin and I'm just using a Virtue Potion to get my courage high enough to get the stacks that I want. So why full Grace Tethrin? The answer to that... Uh-oh. I'm going to lose a stack now. RIP. I'm going to lose 2 charges because I had to shoot that. The answer to that is math, basically. The answer to that is math. The TLDR, the short version, is that if you look at how much damage you gain per virtue point, comparing courage to grace, you get more from grace once you have 6 charges of Fellust. Once you can get up to 6 charges of Fellust, you will be better off adding grace instead of courage. And part of this is because grace is so strong. And part of this is because Fellust has non-linear virtue scaling. So the higher you get, the more you need for the next tier. I feel like that might be worth testing again, actually. Do y'all want to do some testing? We can figure out where the thresholds are for Fellust now. That might be fun. Okay, what is max level? Max Envoy rank is currently 18. It's probably going to be 19 next update, depending on whether or not we get more weapons. We're like 1 weapon away from max Envoy rank being 19. Max level for weapons and packs is 30. Interesting. I think Orbis Null is a site that someone sent me the other day, and some of the stuff looked really good. Some of it looks like it might be out of date, or at the very least just like didn't match some of the testing results that I had, but I wouldn't put that on Orbis Null. I would put that on the fact that like so many things are currently breaking that it's so hard to know what anything actually does. It took me so long to figure out what totems were actually doing because of how like your multipliers just sometimes don't apply. Your multipliers just sometimes just don't activate. So there will be... so actually, now that we're on Tethrin's a great example of this. Fellust and Call of the Ancients are supposed to stack with each other, and sometimes they just don't. Sometimes they just don't. I don't know why. There does not seem to be a reason why. They just randomly sometimes don't stack with each other. Why did we go this way? We didn't need to go this way. Yeah, at the moment I am looking for Neath caps. I am I just got done info dumping about how we did the crazy shot, and so we were talking about Tethrin, and now should we go test? I low-key want to test where the thresholds are for Fellus. But at the same time, just thinking about testing things makes me sad. Because multipliers turn off sometimes, and so it's really hard to know if your results are actually accurate. It's really hard for anyone to know when their results are accurate right now, because sometimes something that's supposed to work just doesn't, and you don't have any indicator for it. It just doesn't work. All right, Burb, where are we going? Yap tax, for sure. I need to pay Yap tax regularly. Alright, Burb says this way. I think the exit is this way. Burb is lost. I am lost. Oh. No, I don't actually need this. Thanks, but no thanks. Burb, I can't go this way. I guess now I can. This is probably why Burb was lost. This is Waste Bear start room. We actually get to go across? So pretty. Oh, okay, Neathcap. Let's go. I mean, Neathcap and Whisprig both are down here. Oh, am I stuck now? No, the way up is over here. This is such a gorgeous tile set. I'm so glad that there's like bosses and resources down here now. You can replay the Fable of Bromius to collect the sap. You can. You can also just run around the Wevet Wood without the Fable and collect the sap. You don't have to be in the Fable to go there and get the sap from the trees. Hello. Thank you. I feel like that Drac took so long. Alright. How am I supposed to know if rune damage works on secondary if it stacks with the main weapon slot? Kyushu, you know... It's a really good question. Right now, okay, so when I was testing totems, for the most part, almost every totem will stack with itself if you equip it on both weapons, and is always active even when on the sheathed weapon. Almost every rune. There are several things that can cause stuff to just kind of like bug out and stop working. So, because it seemed so normal, because there seemed to be such a reliable pattern of totems working on the sheathed weapon, I feel like it's safe to assume that if they can work on the sheathed weapon, then the bug is when they suddenly stop working. But I don't really know that. I don't really know that. Not like at the moment, I don't know. At the moment, my personal thought is that no one truly knows how the game is supposed to work except for the devs. I tried to be very clear about that in the totem video, about like my level of confidence, about the fact that things are bugging out and multipliers are just stopping. Like maybe the devs were trying to tone Fellus down by making it not stack with Call of the Ancients. And so the bug is when it does stack, not when it doesn't stack. We just don't know. We have no idea, and no great way to figure it out, frankly. Kind of in testing mode already. Hate trying to test on shield guys though, because they will... Hey, it's not that much. 9k is not that much. I think something broke there. So at this point, I'm just assuming that there's just a bunch of bugs. And so like, yeah, no, nobody knows. Yeah, exactly. And like, that's not like, I really, I don't want anyone to interpret that as shade towards anyone, because I don't know either. I am aware that I don't know. I don't have a magical knowledge of all of the way that like Soulframe works that other people don't. I don't. I'm just, there's a certain extent to which if you start to see things being unreliable in terms of when no drama at all, Christina. To the contrary, I'm trying to make sure that nothing that I say starts drama, because I don't want to start drama. That like we are all doing our best to understand how the game works and to figure out what totems are doing, and it is tough because I can go out, like for example, someone came to me and was like, "Oh, totems definitely have virtue scaling even when they're equipped in the totem slot that doesn't show virtue scaling. It's a visual bug only." So I went out to test this because like, all right, well, we got to figure out if that is another thing that is bugged. And sure enough, sometimes your totems don't get virtue scaling in the bonus slot, and sometimes they do. When do they and when don't they and why? I don't know. And so like, I posted a pinned comment on the video saying like sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So, you know, have fun with that. So it is just very like, it's just really tough. This game is called Soulframe. This is a new game currently in pre-alpha. We are all, I should suppose I shouldn't speak for new, I shouldn't speak for anyone else other than myself, but I am certainly currently waiting for the next update. We have a couple of bugs in this current release, and normally Digital Extremes, who makes the game, is really, really, really good with bug fixes. They're usually very fast with it, and lately things have been quiet. We have not had a hotfix in quite a while, despite there being a lot of bugs. And typically what this means is that we are about to get an update. Usually when the devs go quiet and we don't see any updates, it's because they're pushing all of the fixes into the new build. So the longer it goes without, DE is cooking, exactly. The longer we go without a hotfix, the more convinced I become that we're getting close to P16. So, you know, it's not a point of frustration at the moment. It's like more like excitement. The excitement is building. But they are on vacation, sure. This also happens when they go on vacation, but we know they're not on vacation. We know that they're cooking. All right, sir. You're coming all the way over here for me to shoot you in the face. All right. Oh, man. I wanted to test some things on your friend. All right. Well, how much virtue do I have right now? All right. I just cast and we have 19. Let's see how many stacks we get at 19 courage. Oh, I just missed. So that counted as 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 at 19. I think 21 is when I get my next charge. Man, this is spreading sploot is crazy. 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 Oh, that was me. I don't know why I just took out my fly blades. That was not at all helpful. I don't know. Maybe I don't care enough about testing Fellas right now because, like, probably everything's going to change next update anyway. Does it give the virtue the totem is equipped to, or the virtue the matching orb is pulled? Great question. Great question, Stabbers. We think it's supposed to give the virtue that the soul is of the soul that you pulled. We think. However, it doesn't always give you that virtue. It doesn't always give you the virtue the totem is equipped in either. So we don't really know how it's supposed to work. I think it most often gives you the virtue of the soul that you pull. So it's probably supposed to do that and is just bugging sometimes. That's my guess. Oh, I just clicked something. Hello? All right, pop and lock. Hold on. I need to look at your chat and it's not popping up for me properly. So I'm going to go look at it right now. Give me a sec here. Because I see it, but I'm not seeing it. All right, have some questions, but the character limit is too short. I'll post a second message. Okay. Sure. Sorry. I will look for your message. I will look for your message. Okay. Let's go. I was thinking we could test. I was thinking we could test at what point. This is gonna live rent free in my brain until I test it. So we're gonna test it. We're gonna test at what point I get a 6th stack of courage or of fellust. I think it's gonna end up being at 21. That's my guess. Okay, I'm gonna read this chat here. I've maxed out the Kith of Kings faction, and I've been on courage build since I started playing. I have never played with a bow or a staff, so I have no idea what to do about going and switching factions, doing grace or spirit, or if my progress with my current faction gets reset when I switch. If it does reset, is there anything I should be prioritizing from the faction before I switch? How do I even switch factions? Ton of great questions. When's P16? We don't know. Early September, I guess. Probably. We don't know. Okay. So thing number 1, the faction that you're in does not limit which builds you can play. So you can play any virtue you want, regardless of which faction you're in. I'm in Alka's Children right now. So at the moment, I am playing mostly Grace builds, but I'm in Alka's Children. This is my faction because I wanted a thistle with specific tempers for testing some specific things, basically. Stay tuned for Stagger video this week. So your faction does not limit which virtue you can play. You can play any virtue you want. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2, question number 2. What you should think about for which virtue you should play and what builds is what your weapon is attuned to. So this Ors 3 is attuned to courage. You can see the courage, the little like red sun Mora stars next to the attunement. So you would want to build courage for this. But if you were, say, gonna do Bog and Myrtle, you could do a hybrid build between courage and grace. You could do a hybrid build between grace and spirit for your Royal Tynes melee build. So which virtue you pick really should have more to do with your weapon attunement at this point than anything else. You can also build for which Pact Arcanic you want to use, because each of these scale with one of your virtues. So this is another thing that you could look at. If you want more information on how to figure out how to build, I have a video called Build Anything, like how to build any pact in P15. And it goes through all of this. So thing number 1 is you can build for any virtue you want, regardless of which faction you're in. Question number 2 was about switching factions. How do you switch factions? Well, when you're going around the world, you will find fragments for faction talismans. They're going to be down at the bottom of your list. I can't see them in my crafting because I've already crafted mine. But I do believe I have extra talisman fragments. Let's see. So you're going to find fragments for Rose's Bodkin. And since you're already in Kith of Kings, you'll find fragments for Sproutfolk Seed. If you're looking for your faction talisman, Rose's Bodkin is in chest anywhere in the overworld of Midrath. And Sproutfolk Seed comes from chests in the Glades of Andrin. Once you have these fragments, you can craft them into a talisman, but you need a special material called Sacred Shimmer that you buy from your faction shop to craft that talisman. All you have to do is have the talisman in your inventory. That's it. You don't even have to equip it. You just need to have crafted it. In fact, we'll go show this off. Why not? And then you can switch factions, and all you have to do is talk to the person and you'll be able to switch. And I'll go switch to another faction to show you what I mean. We'll go switch to who should we switch to? Who has Verdigris? Low-key want a Verdigris. All you do is you go in and chat with them. And no, it does not reset your faction progress. You can switch between the factions anytime you want once you've made their talisman. Oh, I should not switch factions. Should turn in some stuff. So where's our Sacred Shimmer? This is Sacred Shimmer. This is the material you need to craft the talismans. So you're going to need to go in, you're going to buy some Sacred Shimmer. You can craft your talismans. The easiest way to go about this is to buy both of them from your first faction because you need to be, I think, rank 3 to buy Sacred Shimmer. And then you can switch between your factions whenever you want. You can swap between your factions as much as you want and you're not going to lose your progress. So let me sell some stuff and we'll go ahead and do that. We'll just swap real quick. And I'll show you what I mean. You can buy the starting weapons. You can buy a sidearm. Yeah, I think Verdigris is from the Silent Rose. So let's head over to the Silent Rose. And you'll see that all of my progress from the Silent Rose is still there. So you don't lose any progress. And because there's no cooldown, there's nothing to wait for anymore. There's no timer. There used to be a 1-week timer where you had to wait a week before you could switch factions. That's not true anymore. So you don't have to worry about it. You can just switch whenever you like. Anytime you feel like grabbing something from another faction, you can go ahead and start working on that faction. That's especially useful because those faction favors that I just turned in for standing, each faction has a favored one where like you get the most amount of standing from that. So rather than selling all of them to one faction like I just did, you can sell the favored favor. You can sell the ideal favor to each faction whenever you get them. And then you'll get like the maximum progress for all 3 factions at once. It's a really nice addition. There is a limit to how much standing you can get per day. I don't actually know if it's a limit per faction or if it's a like total daily faction limit. But I never used to hit it until they put in favors. And now I hit it with my favors all the time. Yeah, for Kith, it's the Cenaculum. For the Silent Rose, it is the Sinner's Stratagem. And for Alka's Children, the Basque Bulb are the preferred favors. So yeah, Pop and Lock-in, does that answer your question? Did I hit everything that you were asking? Favors don't count against your daily standing limit for tails, but there is a standing limit for favors. And when you're going to hit that limit, you'll see it. So I am going to pledge the Silent Rose, and I'm looking at my standing. You can see that I'm already rank 5, and I have a bunch of standing. So all of my progress from Silent Rose from before is still there, and when I go back to Alka's Children, I won't have lost anything. I could switch back literally right now if I wanted to. Instead, maybe I'll get some of these. Let's see if we get a Moonsteel. Do I think the totem system is going to get a complete overhaul? I don't know about complete overhaul, but I do think we will see some changes. I think several totems will get a complete overhaul. I don't think that the exploding totems are going to stay in the game. I don't get the impression that that is what the devs wanted. I think that they are cool, but just because something is cool doesn't mean that it fits in Soulframe. And so I want to hold space for like, that was a cool design idea. They are fun to play with. They just don't fit the game. Great. I'm glad we answered that question for you. Okay. I wanted to see how many weapon slots I have right now. Oh, 20? All right. I think I'm about to buy a whole bunch of Verdigris. I think I'm about to buy a bunch of Verdigris so that we can gamble on getting a Moonsteel Verdigris. That one has Swift Strikes. That one has Rejoinder. Oh man. All right. I have 3 that each have tempers that I want. The exploding totems need to go. Some of our other totems are pretty good though. Like I like the healing totems. I think that they're great options. I don't think that those need to change. All right, let's see. I could get so many Verdigris. I'm not going to buy 29. I don't have the capacity for 29. Shall I buy 20 Verdigris and see if I can? See if we get... I'm going to literally fill my inventory with Verdigris and see if we get a Moonsteel. Let's do it. I find this highly entertaining. All right, let's go see if we got lucky, chat. It's probably going to be a whole bunch of scrap metal for me. YOLO. Exactly. All right, here we go. Sword name. The only time that my inventory is going to have more melee weapons than bows. Gambling is what the faction rep is for? Yeah, wait a minute. I didn't have more. I got a Sovereign Verdigris from that? All right, well, we're going to keep that one. Hale and Hardy with a shiny Venger that's a pretty good Verdigris right there. All right, so we keep that one. Okay. No. I don't think we got lucky. RIP. No Moonsteel. Now I have to go delete please. All right, let's think about this critically. I mean, we got to hold on to the Sovereign, right? We got to hold on to the Sovereign. It's pretty solid Sovereign. Wait a minute. This is a 4 temper Sovereign? It's only a 4 temper Sovereign. That means that when I upgrade it, it's going to fully gamble on the rest of the tempers. Do I care that much? I don't know. We don't need this. We don't need that. I don't know if I'm gonna need a shiny, if I'm gonna need an enkindled to like consume for tempers or not. Let's get rid of some of these extras so I can actually pick up weapons. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Most of these are just not very good. This is to be expected. Enkindled is pretty good. Don't need that. Don't need that. I do like Rejoinder. Do I have that on a different one? No, let's get rid of this one. Okay. This is Swift Strike. This is Swift Strike. Ooh, boy. Neither of these are very good. Let's get rid of this one. This one is rejoinder. All right, so we don't need 2 of these. Well, this is better than that. So we'll get rid of that one. I don't really need that anymore. All right. Uh-oh, I think I have a build that had one of those verdigrisses equipped. Repose damage is very strong. I will agree with that. No Moonsteel yet. I just literally bought 20 verdigris? Verdigris? I don't know what the plural of that would be. I feel like I feel like there was a build that had that as the offhand. Maybe not. Maybe I changed it. Spruce, maybe? I don't know. Don't know. All right, well, vertigeese. I have also been trying to collect shiny timbers because we don't really know how shiny timbers are going to work with the timber customization. I really hope we can make timbers shiny because it's going to be really sad if we can't. I have enough standing that I could just buy like 9 more. We could see what happens. Let's buy 9 more. What else am I going to do with my standing, realistically speaking? Let's do it. Let's continue the gamble. Here we go. Yeah, give me a bunch of daggers, please. Give me a bunch of daggers. Eventually, if we are able to take the skin of one bow and put it on another, I'm going to gamble with thistles for eternity until I get a Moonsteel Thistle. For sure. All right. We get lucky this time? That seems like... Nope. Nope. We did not. Okay. We have more things to disassemble. Disassemble. Definitely don't want that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Well, we don't need that because we have the on the other one. We'll save one of those. Okay, that's fine. Wait. How did I end up with so many fewer weapons? I feel like I started with more weapons. Didn't I start at like 283? Why this dagger particularly? Not a big reason, because it's available in the faction shop. Am I losing my mind? Did I dismantle something I shouldn't have? I thought I started with way more than this. Capacity display may be bugged. I was showing 283 after purchase, which should have filled, right? Like this is, I think my capacity might be bugged. Hold, please. I'm gonna relog. Surprise, surprise, the delay is bug. I know. I should not be surprised about anything. Let's just do a quick relog here. You saw it takes 264 before you bought those daggers. Right, I should have capped out at 303 when I bought the 20, and then deleting them should have brought me back down to above 283. I wonder if looking at your capacity while in an enclave bugs something. I don't know. We're about to find out together. What is my inventory now? 284. There we go. So it was bugged. Well, add this to the list. This is what it should be. Close your eyes when you look at the number so it doesn't change. Exactly. This is what I'm saying with like, we can't be too sure of like anything right now. This is like my advice for you if you are trying to like do good builds is to be... My advice is not to sweat it too hard right now. This is my genuine advice for having maximum fun in Soulframe right now. You know, the basics will still work and will still help you out. So like Grace, very strong damage. Courage, very good health. Spirit needs some love. It's going to get some love. We just have to wait and see what DE decides to do. So my advice right now is to just not stress about min-maxing too much, because if you do, it's going to get really frustrating. It's going to get really frustrating. Just wait for the fixes. The fixes will come. They inevitably do. We just got to let DE cook and finish whatever they're working on with this update. And for now, you just don't need to worry about min-maxing that hard. Okay. So I want to check. I want to know that I say, don't worry about min-maxing. And now I'm going to go test something for min-maxing. Do as I say, chat, not as I do. All right, so my courage, at 18 courage, at 19 courage, we were finding that I had 5 charges for Fellust. I want to find out when it goes from 5 to 6. And I think that it's going to be 21, but I want to make sure. So I'm going to test 20 right now, and then we're going to go change my virtues. But I got to not pull any smites because it's going to buff my... Oh, no, I've already cast it. Snapshot. All right. 1, 2. My reticle is moving. 3. Yeah. 4 and 5. Okay, so we had 5 charges at 20 courage. I think it's 21. I think 21 is going to be the magic number. Once you can get up to 21 courage, you can really then just dump everything else into grace. Let's see if I can get up to 21 with a smite pull. What virtue is this going to give me? 7, 43, 20. 2743. That didn't give me anything. Sometimes Noble Nestling gives you nothing. All right. Let's do this the easy way and just put another point into courage and not pull smites and cast Fellust. Did I do this correctly? There we go. Right. Yeah, that should give me 21 because I have a virtue potion. What's with the bug with Noble Nestling? Sometimes the buff just lasts forever when you pull? No, the bug is the bug. I don't know that it's a bug, Arkansas, so much as the totem being super OP. The issue with Noble Nestling is that it stacks with itself infinitely. So if you keep pulling smites, it keeps buffing your virtue more. And the reason I don't know that that's necessarily a bug so much as like maybe a design oversight is that Bravada does the same thing. If you get a bunch of... Oh, that's another thing that we could maybe play with if I have enough of my... If enough of the lab is watching right now, we could potentially get a full squad of duellos and see how far we can get. Skull, I know that you have been wanting to test that for a while. And presumably the answer is infinitely if you can, like, stack the right way. All right, so let's verify. We are at 21 courage. You're in combat, so my reticle is moving, but okay. And let's see how many stacks we get at this much. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is gonna be 5 again, I think. 4, 5. Okay, so it's not 21. 21 is not the answer. Okay, how much courage do I need? So the cutoff points for stacks of Fellust have been changing. They were in a different place before P16 for sure. Let's try 22 courage. They were in a different... It's on... Okay, so it is on the wiki, 1/2 polar bear. But the wiki information about Fellust is currently out of date. This is one of the things that we figured out when we were taking the 3.6 mil shot, is that the number, like the virtues that I had, were not lining up with when I was supposed to be getting charges. And I know that the wiki info was accurate, because I was one of the people contributing to that testing process for the wiki. So that stuff was up to date, but at some point it's either bugged or it got changed. Yeah. Prelude 16 is the next update. All right. So wait, I just cast Fellas. We are at 22. 1, 2. Oh, I think we have 6 now. 3. Yeah. 4. 5. Oh, I missed. That took two things. Polar, when what does the wiki say that we should be getting 6 stacks? I think it says that higher than 22, but I'm getting it at 22. And I think it's just because they changed some stuff. Yeah, P is for Prelude, so P16 means Prelude 16. It means the 16th iteration of Soulframe Preludes. All right, we're gonna check my courage, make sure we're still at 22. We are, according to my inventory, which might be bugged. And I'm pretty sure that the numbers do line up for this to be 6 charges now. 1. See if I can do this with my moving reticle. 2. 3. Why is my reticle moving? Oh my gosh. 4. 5. And I still have a 6th stack. So yeah, we're getting 6 at 22 now. Yeah. Crazy, right? Wait a minute. I'm going to do one more test on that. Having to do these kinds of tests while the distance between reticle and character keeps moving is so frustrating. 1, 2, 3. Now that looks like, this looks like less. This looks like 5 now. 4. Yeah, this is now 5. So why was it was 22, was 6, and now it's not? Is this not showing me the right number? Because this is now 5. All right, sir, I don't want to kill you yet. I'm going to need you for testing. Okay. Well, I'm not doing anything to buff my virtues on purpose, right? I'm trying to stay away from buffing virtues so that it's not going to mess with the build. I'm going to see if maybe there's some kind of bug, and I'm going to switch, and I'm going to switch back, and we're going to try this one more time at, this is 12. Is my virtue potion run out? I don't, have I been yapping for an hour, chat? Did my virtue potion run out? I have not pulled a smite, so I don't have the virtue buff from Wild Tethrin. I'm going to relog and see if maybe my virtue potion ran out. It was showing the virtue potion on my bar, and it was showing the value, but that would have put me 10 under, which would explain why I got 6 charges and then immediately got 5 charges. So before I make myself... All right, well, so it's still showing. I'm still seeing the little icon on my bar. I'm still seeing myself at 22 courage. Let's see if that's real. Drink another and see if it changes. I mean, it wouldn't change. It would just be that it's showing it to me, but it doesn't actually exist in my character. That does happen sometimes with virtue potions, where it will show you the potion being active, and it pretends that like it looks like you have that virtue, but you don't actually get the buff from it. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. All right. 1, 2. Oh, I missed. I can already tell that that was gonna be 5 charges, though. All right. Well, better idea. What if... Okay, hold on. What if Noble Nestling is bugging it out? Because I pulled a Spirit Smite. Surely that doesn't change anything, right? All right, let's just take this weapon off for now. And let's just take this off. Well, let's just leave that empty for the moment. What is this? Spreading Sploot? Sure. Let's just take that off and see what happens. Right? And now the game still thinks I have 22 courage. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be 5. 4. Yeah, 5. All right, I think I might do Skull's suggestion and sacrifice another potion to trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe my potion bugs. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. All right, so now, no matter what, I definitely do actually have 22 courage. We're gonna cast again, and we're gonna see what happens. Maybe my virtue potion was just bugs. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. This is the most real footage of me playing Soulframe, is me kiting around while I'm trying to stack fellas precisely to test things. And missing shots and having to restack. Periodic screaming because I go to aim and the moment that I'm taking my shot, the reticle is like, actually, we want to be over here. All right. Okay. 1. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, I'm so frustrated with myself right now. It's okay. We're gonna be okay. This is gonna be fine. We're about to have a bunch more enemies, which is obviously gonna make it so much easier. Listen, I don't like this dude. You can just go. I'm done with you. And I don't want to deal with the dog staggering me while I'm trying to take these shots. So, Pupper, go be free. This is better. This is a much more manageable group. Alright, here we go. For reals this time. 1, 2.
It can aim.
3.
Archers, take
Yeah, I think this is still 5. I think this is still 5. Why did we get 6 one time? 4, 5. Yeah, it's still 5. Okay, so we go up another charge. Maybe the bug is when it takes less than 25 courage. Maybe the wiki is still up to date and it just sometimes bugs out and gives you extra stacks. I don't have a sidearm right now. Maybe the bug is the extra stacks. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Alright, let's go up to 23. We just refreshed the virtue potion, so we know that we are actually getting... Yeah, it would make a lot more sense if the bug was when it's not tracking what's on the wiki, because again, the wiki was accurate. And maybe the wiki is still accurate, and it's just that sometimes it bugs out and gives you stacks when it shouldn't. Okay, I can't pull any red smites. I have to make sure I don't pull red smites, because that's going to throw our results. It could be a bug with, like, the smite pull virtues not showing. Yeah, it would make more sense, right? Okay, this is 23, and I'm going to regret this, but we're going to do it on this group here. 1, 2, 3. Stagger will consume a shot. 4. I really don't want to try and shoot this shield guy. And I'm not sure if this dude counts as an enemy or... Well, let's find out. Let's find out. How many stacks are you going to take? Oh, you only took 1 stack. I lost count, y'all. How many stacks were we on just now? I think this is 5, right? I think that's 5. Which still puts us where we're supposed to be. Was that 6? That's not supposed to be 6. That's not supposed to be 6. Was that 6? Did I miscount? No. No, then that would be 5. Have I shot the drone? Oh, no. We're gonna do it again. Why is my reticle moving? I have a bow in my hand. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. 4. 5. Okay, that is 5. That's 5. That's 5. Yeah, I counted 5. Okay, so it's 5. We're still at 5. Oh, thanks, sir. I thought it was 5 too. Yeah, the drone was 4 and then shield guy was 5, so that's 5. Alright, so we're still at 5. This is what it should be. This is what it's supposed to be. So more and more, like the closer we get to 25, the more I am convinced that maybe the thresholds haven't changed and they're just bugging out. This is already 25 though. I think we should be on 24. Uh-oh, what if my virtues aren't showing me the right number here? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, what does this say? This is 24. In theory, we're at 24 now. Well, Kyushu, you know, we're in a great place for me to demonstrate something with that. All right, here we go. 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no! Oh, that was 6 for sure. Like, that was definitely 6. It's not supposed to be 6 yet. But we're close enough that I'm like, What if talismans aren't counting? I mean, I'm on a Grace talisman right now, so it wouldn't affect my fella stacks either way. Alright, well, here, we can still do my little demonstration. We need to get rid of Shield Guy, because Shield Guys are a pain. We're not going to pull Smites, because we're going to try and test without... Oh, I know I don't have Mobile Nestling on, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, did you have a chest around here somewhere? I'm going to pick up your key, just in case I find the chest. Alright, well, let's stack first. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, look, here come more enemies. Perfect. 5. And I do, in fact, have a 6 stack, but we're not going to shoot that guy, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to hit our 6th stack up here. I'm going to hit our 6th stack up here on that guy. All right. Oh, I missed. All right, never mind. I got too nervous. I'm like, I better not. I missed this shot. Immediately missed that shot. It's fine. We can restack. Okay, we can restack. He's still there. He hasn't seen anything. He heard nothing. He didn't even notice. He didn't even notice. I still don't want to pull that smite, though, because that will affect my... Oh, no. Did I pull a courage smite? I don't think I did. I pulled a grace, right? Did the grace charge my pact? Freaking reticle. I don't have a sidearm right now to charge with. Make it easier. I don't know if I want to charge on these guys, actually. We're not going to pull these smites, just in case it would mess something up. Nope, wild is definitely not cosmetic. You do get game benefits from them. I thoroughly enjoy sniping guys from so far they don't even react. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Taking those long distance shots and getting the stealth multipliers, tons of fun. Okay, let's try this one more time. 1, 2. Oh my goodness, you see what my reticle's doing? I can't with this. This makes me so frustrated. I need a moment to collect myself. I need a minute. I need a minute. If I actively have a bow in my hand and I'm trying to aim at a target, the reticle shouldn't be moving around. Like, it shouldn't be, because, yeah, it's technically the camera that's moving, but, like, the camera moving changes the position of my enemy relative to the reticle. I can't aim. Okay. I'm calm. We're calm. Everyone's calm. This is calm. I'm calm. 1, 2. This looks like a 6. 3. 4. Yeah, this is a 6. 5. All right, so I'm consistently getting a 6th charge at 24 courage instead of 25. This threshold always was a little iffy. So I don't know. I think the thresholds are just a little buggy. I think that the Fellas thresholds are a little buggy. It's probably not worth stressing over until we get to P16. So, because it's probably... everything is a little buggy right now. So we'll just have to wait and retest in P16. All right, the thing that I wanted to show, though... hopefully, I'm just not going to float, and I'm just going to take this shot without from above, right? Okay. Let's look at what this shot does to this unalerted target. Hopefully, it's a headshot. It was not a headshot. 57, 80 something. All right. I aimed too low. That's fine. We'll just do it the same next time. So here's what we're going to do. Fully charged does not consume 2. Not for bows. Heavy attacks are different on melee weapons. Listen. Listen. On a melee weapon, just tapping your heavy attack consumes 2. And then I think... oh, on a melee weapon, what is it? It was a tap and a fully charged heavy cost different amounts. All right, we got our sleeping archer back there. I'm going to try and body shot him again. Oh, I don't think it's going to... This is going to be more complicated than I think I want to deal with. I was going to show the difference between stealth multipliers and why Grace is so strong, and why if you have so much, as long as you have 6 stacks, you're better off with Grace instead of Courage. You know what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we will still do that. 5. Maybe we'll still do it. 6, so 66, 17. 66, 17. The wiki says that the virtue buff passive from wild packs was removed in P13. What? I mean, I can show it to you. You just gotta get a red smite. Probably gonna easier if I spreading exclude it? No. Alright, there you go. So my courage is 24. You can see, it is clearly, my packed arm is clearly buffed. 25. It doesn't give you a bunch, but it gives you some. Yeah, that is weird because it should be a different number than that. It should be 3. I don't know why I'm getting 1 instead of 3. But, you know, I'm getting some. So, I think the answer is that it works, but like literally everything else, it's buggy. Unless they made it percentage-based? I don't know. I don't know. Alright, I think that right there just destroyed my desire to test what's going on with Fella scaling and Grace. I mean, we can try switching over to full courage. See what happens. Is this Blitzel? Is the Blitzel that I currently have equipped? Oh, so that's gonna be, I would have to bless a Blitzel with my Mora, which I don't want to do because it's just not good. Yeah, it's not going to be the same test. Blessel. I would have to bless my Blitzel with Mora. Then there's also the issue of sometimes your multipliers just don't go. And I don't know why. Like, the difference between those shots should have been more than it was. I don't know. I don't want to test it right now because it doesn't super matter. I don't think it's working properly. I don't think that number was correct. I feel like, I mean, like, let's just go and repeat the test and see if we get a different number, right? Is there another archer? We can find another unalerted archer and just shoot him in the face and find out. But like, I feel like, I mean, granted, I do now have an extra point of courage, which is going to make the number a little higher. Well, I mean, so no matter what, I would need 2 identical bows with the same tempers that I shoot in the same circumstances, and the only difference is the strength of the attunement. It's not going to be a perfect test no matter what, because Grace gets a little bit of extra. It is... Tinfoil hypothesis. The stack cap gets snapshotted, but the growth in stacks happens off your present courage. Maybe. Oh, maybe it's because I had points in courage. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I could just use stock. I mean... Do I have some stock Blitzel? Do I have a stock Blitzel? I have some low tier Blitzels that I could use. Do I have 2 that are close enough that they would be fair to compare? We could maybe do these 2. Neither of those tempers add damage directly. Kyushu, normally I love this min-maxing. Normally I find this so fun. The only reason I'm not really having fun with it right now, I should do something else because I'm getting... I want to mind my mood. Let's go play around with Orangol for a little bit. Yeah, normally so that's the problem. That is the problem. Is that Remiko? Is that Remiko that's chatting? That is the problem with testing right now, is that it's not possible to remove all the variables because sometimes multipliers just don't apply. Things just aren't always working. Reminiscence, like sometimes stuff just like turns off and we can't figure out why. We started to suspect that something was awry when I took a headshot with 690 grace and only did 130 something damage. And like, yes, that's a lot of damage, but it's nowhere near what it should have been at 690 grace. And it didn't track with like some of the other results that we were getting that range anywhere between 100k and over 3 million. So there is definitely something going on with multipliers just not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Where'd he go? There you are. And like, if I can't control the variables, I can't test in a way that I can be confident about. Because it is absolutely correct that in order to do an accurate test, I would have to be able to remove every variable and test one thing at a time. It's just not possible to do in Soulframe right now. Because if you can't be sure that the variables you are controlling are actually active, there's just a hard limit to what you can test. So is AVEX good or just too slow? It's only good with the correct rune. All right. Interesting question. I think AVEX is too slow, but that is... I think right now, whether or not AVEX is too slow is going to be up to your personal preference. AVEX is pretty unique in how it works amongst bows. So, maybe you will like the speed that AVEX shoots at, or like maybe it will feel okay for you. It'll feel comfortable and you won't mind it. Right? I'm gonna get these guys. For me, AVEX feels like it doesn't offer enough for what it does, or like for how slow it charges. Like it is quite slow. And this AVEX, I think, even has one quick draw on it already. So it's even slower, I think, without this quick draw. I have a shiny quick draw AVEX. It just doesn't have very good tempers on it. So I struggle through. Yeah, this is a single quick draw AVEX. So here's my thought. If AVEX were the only bow that allowed you to parry and block and riposte, I think the longer charge rate would be a fair trade-off for that combat utility. I think that might be interesting because then, you know, if you can't block or parry or riposte with a bow, then a sidearm becomes a lot more important because you need that sidearm to be able to parry and riposte the same way that you need it with a staff, because a staff can block but can't parry or riposte. And so for a bow, if you couldn't block or parry or riposte with a bow, it would be even more essential. And so, you know, running an unencumbered build would be a bigger risk with a bow, which I think is appropriate given how much damage bows do. And then it would give AVEX a stronger niche because you would want a bow for some situations where you could do some of those melee actions, like the bow parry, the bow riposte. I mean, they're cool animations. They just don't have a strong place right now because it's faster and more efficient to just swap to a sidearm. So if you made it so that using a bow, normally you can't, AVEX has a slower charge rate, but you can. It gives AVEX a unique niche. And then the balance isn't so much about, oh, but the shots pierce. The shots pierce is not strong enough to be worth that balance because you're still not adding as much damage as Arrow Hail does. And I know they're looking at changing Arrow Hail too. I hope that actually comes to fruition. I think that would be great. But yeah, I think that normal bows that have faster charge rates should not be able to block or parry or riposte, and should not be able to roll those tempers. And then AVEX and other bows like AVEX in this like skirmisher, melee, like bladed bow category, I think there should be another bow added to this category, at least one, but you know, over time several, that can block, parry, and riposte, and that the trade-off for that is a slower charge rate. And I think that would be very fair. I think that gives some fun like pros and cons to the different play styles. Hello. Ooh. All right, who's healing? You're healing. Hello. Oh, I missed. Get him, wolfies. Get him, wolfies. Oh, did one of you die already? Where's the healer? Oh, no, the wolf got the healer. Good job. Moon. Look at that target prio. We love it. Nice work, Moon. Oh, okay. I think that is the most useful that Moon Moon has ever been. Is there any info or data on what interrupts ends the bonus damage on the follow-up temper? 1/2 polar bear, literally everything. Again, with the caveat that testing is weird right now and it's hard to tell what's going on. But when I was testing it, even just moving, like walking forward, was ending the follow-up damage buff. Literally everything. Like, if you want to get the follow-up damage buff, you have to just stand still and attack. If we can make our weapons with god rolls come temper update, what is your ideal god roll bow? Well, that depends on the bow. And the build, honestly. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on quite a few things. For Maestro, it's gonna be definitely like okay. Definitely quick draw on everything. No contest, quick draw on everything. Whether or not I actually need shiny quick draw on everything, I will want to retest in P16. Because right now, what it seems like is that the quick draw bonus does not seem to be additive like literally every other temper. Every other temper is like if it gives you, you know, however much stagger and then like 2 of them gives you 2 stagger. That does not, or like, yeah, like, what is a good example? We just can't see numbers for a lot of this stuff, so it's hard to say. Basically, it seems like weapons with a slow charge rate to start with will benefit from it more because it will say, say if your charge rate is, you know, 10 seconds and it's gonna make it charge, you know, you get like 20% faster or whatever. Or like it makes it, let's say 10 seconds and you get a 10% increase. It's gonna, the first quick draw brings you down to 9 seconds, but the second quick draw would be then like 8.1 seconds. This is, you know what I mean? It multiplies the second, it multiplies the number again. Because when I was comparing shots frame by frame, the difference between no quick draw and quick draw was very noticeable, and the difference between quick draw and shiny quick draw was not very noticeable, except on Avex, which has a slower charge rate to start with. Now, is that intended? Who knows? Literally no other temper seems to work that way, so maybe not, but also maybe? I don't think it's the worst thing if it works that way, but it does mean that do I want to spend another temper slot on a shiny quick draw for bows that aren't that slow to begin with? And I don't know. I think that when the update rolls out and I can customize tempers, I'm probably going to look at the charge rates of all of my bows and then decide based on the bows that I have if I feel like I need to roll shiny quick draw on everything, or if I feel like a single quick draw is good on some bows. There's going to be bows that I want specifically for single target one-hit shots, and for those builds, things like Enkindled and Bypass aren't as useful, but those are still really, really good tempers. They're just not like single target one-shot tempers. So I'll probably have like a bow that I build specifically for one-shots, and then other bows, like most of my bows will be built to like, you know, take multiple shots to kill something. Bypass, I think, is going to be pretty good. Because armor strip is always good unless we see changes to armor. And then I might thank you for the sub, Cardinal Canoe. I might be tempted. I might be convinced to make a stagger weapon. But you'll have to wait for this week's video for me to hear my full explanation on what would need to happen in order for me to want to do that. I've done quite a bit of I've done as much stagger testing as my mental will withstand. And I am very excited to share those results. I also, again, there's a limit to how much testing I want to do until we get the update. But I also can't resist testing things at all. I have to do some. I gotta do some. I really like Aftershock. And then, so I'm definitely going to want at least one Juniper that has Sympathy on it. Sympathy Pangs. And then I'm going to want one Juniper that doesn't have any Sympathy Pangs on it. I'll want a shiny Sympathy Pangs, and then I'll want one without any Sympathy Pangs. Because Sympathy Pangs and No Shelda don't get along well. So I'll want a Juniper. Unless I just decide that I'm only going to run Oshelda with Maestro. But, you know, it would be nice to have an option for a Juniper that's not going to break the stone. Oh, and also for the sake of Tethrin. Although most of the time I run Tethrin with a Blitzel right now. Oshelda bears no sympathy. True. What's the best bow to main in P15? Blitzel. Why Blitzel? Because they changed the base stats of Blitzel and they gave it the highest base damage. It only requires Grace, so you don't have to put points into any other virtue. And right now on bows, Grace is just way beyond any other option. Oh, I missed. And the downside is that Blitzel has a lower smite chance. I think that this was, in the grand scheme of things, in the long term, this was a smart decision, right? To buff Blitzel's damage because of its low smite chance. I think that's a good balanced decision. However, oop. Hold on. Doggos, can you not stagger me for a second? Thank you. Oh my gosh. There we go. Better. However, right now it's just too easy to proc smite in other ways. So that, doesn't have the value that it would. Alright, I guess they're leaving. That's fine. You guys can go. I think that once our totems... I suspect that one of the things that will change with totems balance-wise is that we won't be able to proc smite as easily. Because right now it's a little too easy to proc smite. So I imagine that will change. And then once it does, a low smite chance is going to be a fair trade for extra damage. So I think that if we take the long view on the Blitzel change, that makes a lot of sense. What armor am I using when I go full Grace? I will show you. Oh my gosh, my jaw just popped and it hurt so much. On this build I'm using, I am using Orangol, specifically because Avex, despite being a real strong bow, requires at least 13 courage. So when I don't have any virtue potions or other things messing with my virtues, which I do have right now, I have this build set at 13 courage, just enough to make that courage requirement, and then everything else in Grace, because Grace is so strong on bows. But if I'm looking at a full Grace build, I run the Maestra's chest, the Maestra's legs, and then I like to use the Orangol's helm. The Orangol's helm is just a little bit stronger, than the Maestra's helm. Yep. It does make me relatively weak to magic. It's okay. I do fine. But if you're running full grace, the Maestra set is just really, really good. You want to see my spirit build? My magic build? My go-to P16 magic build? This is my magic build. I'm not even kidding. I just use a Virtue Potion to get to my requirement for this. I just use a Virtue Potion because Siren lets you get stealth mults on all of your heavy casts, and you just do so much better. It's just so much better than trying to do an actual spirit magic build. Speaking of potions, do I think Blitzel needs the double attack speed? Again, I will want to retest this after P16. Like, once we get it, I'm going to want to test things again. For now, I feel like Juniper, Maestro, and Blitzel, and Thistle if you decide you want to use a Thistle, all are like take it or leave it for the shiny quick draw, but all of them do need one quick draw. I think the only bow that like I struggle, the only bow that I definitely would say right now absolutely hard needs the shiny quick draw is Avex. I might put it on. Okay, but there's a caveat to that. If you really like using the from above temper, it might still be worth it to get the shiny quick draw, even on those other bows. Because when you're trying to get your shot to charge and then aim while midair, every frame counts. In those situations, it might actually still be worth it to just have the extra speed. So I do want to do some testing, because I don't think that it's super clear cut yet. And I will also say that shiny quick draw will never be bad. It will never be a bad temper. The question just becomes, if you have a bow with many good temper options, like say a Juniper, where there are several tempers that could be really good, is a double quick draw going to offer more than one of those other tempers? And I think it's unclear right now. I need to test more. What about the Starling? Is that the weakest? No, the Starling is not the weakest. The Starling is, I think, comparable to... Let's go take a look. The reason I haven't equipped my Starling is because I tempered it and it randomized all my tempers. I refined it and it randomized all my tempers. So this is why I haven't been using this bow, is that I went to temper it and like got a block and a knocked, like, hurts. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what they do with the tempering and if there's a fix for this. Because I like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Rupture, but I sure do like it better than it was. What I use my Chaos Gourd Stones on is going to depend on what the crafting changes. How was the stream in the game today? I'm doing pretty good. I'm just kind of vibing and chatting and speculating about P16. It's so tough not really being able to do much building. I mean, I guess I technically can. It feels rough. Why didn't that hit you for more damage? That should have hit you for more damage, for sure. That definitely was like one of my molts just didn't work right there. Oh, I missed. Something is fishy. Something's fishy. Oh, okay. Sure. That's totally where I was aiming that. Yeah, like that. He wasn't bestoned, and that was the like something's weird. Sometimes oh, I bet it's stealth malts on bestone are breaking the same way they're breaking with Behest and Pictrix. What did we get? We got an Avex, you know? I might actually want that Avex. Depending on how temper customization works. Is mounts coming on P16 or later? Odd Noodle, we're not entirely sure if mounts are coming in P16 or later. It's possible that they will come in P16. We do know that puppy bonding is coming in P16. And that is something that we have to do in order to make our wolf into a mount. Now, is it just the bonding process that we're going to get, or is it bonding all the way up until mount? We don't really know. We don't really know. But definitely there will be progress towards mounts coming in P16, where you bond with your wolf, you help your wolf grow up, and that will allow your wolf to become a mount. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing what the Ode maps are going to be like come War Songs. Yes. Like the Sky Castle is going to be so cool. The Sky Castle is going to be so cool. I have so many theories about War Songs too. So many more than... More and more. The more I watch and like listen to stuff. So obviously like my video for this week that I'm working on is a video about Stagger. And then if we still don't have P16 by the week after, then I have another like speculative lore story type thing. Yeah, getting Mom's armor is going to be incredible. And I bet we get her packed too. Oh, wait, how did you not die there, sir? Oh, oh, oh. Okay, okay, okay. Just know we will get it before the next Warframe update. I mean, presumably. Wait. You think we're going to get War Songs before the next Warframe update? I mean, so we need to get P16 first before War Songs. And I think that how long it takes us to go from P16 to War Songs is gonna depend on how much needs to be fixed. So I understand the best chances are in full party doing Koga run. I'm sorry, I missed a message up there. The best chances of what? I want a Moonsteel weapon. Oh, the best chances are not in a full party in Koga. The best that is not accurate. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that is not true. Or good news, maybe? Moonsteel chances are completely random. In fact, I think of all of the... I think I've gotten maybe like 3 or 4 Moonsteels since P15 rolled out. And most of them have been not in Koga. Yeah, it is not true. In Koga, you have a higher chance of better craftwork tier. So there's a chance that the weapons will drop at a better craftwork tier, but the chance of moonsteel is the same. It's the same for when you craft a weapon, theoretically, when you refine a weapon, when a weapon is dropped. It is completely random and does not increase with enemy level. It's good news? Well, I'm happy to be the bearer of good news then. Yes. Found your intro to Soulframe video on YouTube. Super great content. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm bracing myself for everything to be out of date, but also very excited. You can gain moonsteel via refining. So I have heard, Catastra. I have not had this happen to me personally, but that is what I have seen, or what I have heard other people reporting. You had 3 moonsteels, one of them you destroyed on accident. Oh, that's the worst. That's so tough. I want to play a different pact. What are we going to play? What are we going to play? I miss Duello. I miss Duello. Am I going to... Can you lose an already moonsteel through refining? I don't think so. If that were true, then surely the Chaos Cordstone would have gotten rid of my moonsteel, and it didn't. So I don't think so. I think that once a weapon becomes moonsteel, you keep moonsteel. Become the wolf. We were just on Orangol. I mean, I don't play Orangol that much. We can. Yeah, casually moonstealing our weapons and putting herself down. You know, poor to Volcani. She needs a boost. Destroyed on the ground because it doesn't have enough distinction. It is true, you do need to check your item cards, but at least it does show on the ground now. Oh, what is that? That looks like a sovereign. That looks like a sovereign something. Excuse me, I've got a fancy something to pick up here. That is a sovereign or a number. All right, we'll take it. So chat, I'm plotting and planning. In theory, hopefully, I'm still waiting to hear back on this, so don't take this as a promise yet. But in theory, hopefully, on this Thursday? No, not this Thursday. Hold on, where's my calendar here? Hold on, let me check my calendar. Not this coming Thursday, but the Thursday after. In theory, in like a week and a half, we'll be doing a fashion show on stream where folks can show off their fashion, and we'll have prizes for the winners. What did I name my journal? The Healer's Handbook. I named it the Healer's Handbook. Maybe I should do some bow melee here. Right? We're in the Undercity. Close quarters. Not the best place to be. Oh, you got it. You got it, doggos. Not the best place to be shooting, right? Named yours book. I think a lot of people named it book. Is fashion the end game for this game too already? Yeah, kinda. It sure is. I would like the balloons, please. I want a Moonsteel Maestro real bad. Wow, I'm getting like so many smites. All right. We're doing melee bow is what we're doing right now. We're doing melee bow. Very effective. Like, I could really get into this on an Avex build if it felt more like a choice. Right? That's fun. Some arrow stabbing. Let them close. Oh, good job, Wolfies. Good job, wolf friends. Oh, okay. This is what the bow is for, right? And then we go help the doggos. Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. Can I hit? There we go. Better. All I want is legendary Moonsteel Clivers. Yeah, Clivers is a good one. I am so ready for a rapier sidearm. That's what I want. All right, if that's the way we go, let's clear over here first. I want a rapier sidearm so bad. I'm going to get that up to legendary so quick as soon as it comes out. And I'm going to do bow rapier builds all day. Rapier is just so fun in melee. It is by far my favorite melee weapon for sure. Should we do some rapier? Hello, Surreal. When is P16 coming? We don't know. We don't know when. We don't know when P16 is coming. Oh, we don't need to stock rostrum.
Don't think is going to make for this update, but is coming very, very soon.
Yep. Soon. The official date on P16 is soon. All right, let's do. Since we have apparently reached that point in the stream where I'm branching out, let's do some rapier. Yeah. Oh, rapier is gonna be so fun, y'all. It's gonna be so fun. I need it. I need it. Hope right now is before the end of September 4th. So, yeah, we just don't know, right? Like, oh man, I feel like it feels like hope to hope that it's before. But also, you know, we don't know if Steve was being serious or not when he said probably around then. Right? It could have been just like trolling because, like, you know, it's like me saying, you know, when do I think that P16 is going to come out? I think it's probably going to come out like the week leading up to September 4th because I was going to go on vacation. And so, of course, that is exactly when it would come out because I would just come back. I would just come home and cover the release and then go take a vacation another weekend. I'm too excited about it and there's too many things that I want to see, so whenever the update happens, I will be here. If only this was a secondary so we could use it with bows. Exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. Anything else over here? Any chests? Any chances? Any weapon racks? Nothing. I'm just hoping for rostrums is what or not rostrums. I'm hoping for maestros. Moonsteel maestro. There's nothing to do but just keep grinding. Is this my new job? I would love for it to become my job. Not quite there yet, but fortunately I have my work is one that allows me to get away with spending this much time on a game. I am pretty lucky in that regard, but it has been a lot. It has been a lot. I have not had a social life in a while. So I am looking forward to the moment when I can finally be like, all right. Soon, maybe. We'll see. One of my Moonsteel is Rostrum. I do have a Moonsteel Rostrum. And I got it not in Koga mode, just running around solo and like randomly got it from a weapon rack? From a drop? I don't remember. Even. Must have been from a weapon rack. Hello. Alright, let's actually use some Arcanics, huh? I think that was maybe unnecessary. Oh my goodness. Duello is so strong. Let's use some Arcanics to stare at things and they're immediately dead. That's not the worst grin, but I already have a pretty good grin. Alright, well. Got my second Gath piece a couple of weeks ago, still on that high. Well, Githanen is gonna be one of the fashion show rewards. Ooh, a shiny enkindled. That's worth tempering. That is worth tempering. We'll do some low tier gambling on that and at least see what it rolls, and then we can and then I think it's gonna be about time for me to go make some dinner. What is the benefit of Moonsteel weapons? Oh, it's just cosmetic. It's just shiny. I'll show you. I'll go in and show you my Moonsteel. I'm gonna hop into Nightfold. We'll do some tempering. I'll show you my Moonsteel. And then I'm gonna go make some food. Anyone holding on to shiny tempers just to feed them to 2 Volcane? Yep. I sure am. I sure am. Okay. I have a Moonsteel, a Moonsteel bow that was gifted to me. I have not gotten any Moonsteel bows to drop for myself. I've only gotten Moonsteel bows through trades so far. So that's the Moonsteel cosmetic on my bow. I have disabled weapon elemental effects specifically so that I can see how pretty my Moonsteel are, because they're beautiful. And then I'll pop on my rostrum for a minute so we can see what that looks like. Moonsteel rostrum. Which might also end up being a giveaway reward at some point. We'll see. I do really love rostrum. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous weapon. Like, this is such a beautiful dagger. Which is why I'm hesitant to part with it. It's also the only Moonsteel I have that actually has my name on it. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of attached, but you never know. All right, let's go gamble on that Maestro. The original Orst farm was pretty rough, but it has gotten a lot better, right? I am very excited to see what happens with this update. Man. Is it just me, or is it everyone just kind of like... I feel like we're all just kind of waiting for P16. Hence the title. Hence the title of the stream, which was originally just waiting for P16, but then people thought like, oh, do I know that it's coming today? Like, no, it's not coming today.
Fairly made, but quenched too soon.
I don't know if I actually want to roll that or not. Let's see, where's that? It was a military maestro. Oh, this one has shiny enkindled and nothing else on it. This one has a shiny enkindled, but it has Calp.
Fairly made.
Okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting because my test results on Stagger have been interesting. Interesting. Have you seen the bow bug that happens if you spam jump and light attack? What do you mean? I've had people come in and ask if I've seen the bow bug that makes you float when you shoot a bow. And like, that's not a bug, that's an intended design. But maybe that's not what you mean? Is there a difference? Is there, I mean, there are some animation cancels also with bugs, but with bows, with presumably with everything. But I have problems with my joints and it makes it very, very difficult for me to do animation cancels. Yeah, I probably can't do it, and so that's fine. I play Soulframe with a foot pedal because the keybinds are a little tough for me. So I don't expect that I would be able to do the rapid fire. I'm sure that they will patch it out. I mean, I have seen the horse riding bug. It has never happened to me, but I did see that video of it. What did we get? Dismantle. With a racing wheel? Imagine. Imagine. Yeah, there's got to be some animation canceling thing, and I don't have that kind of skill. I've never had that kind of skill. I hope we can drift with our mounts. Oh, we'll see. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? All right, folks. I am very hungry. Oh, look how pretty. What a lovely scene. What a lovely scene to end on. How beautiful. This game is so pretty. For testing combos that are best done with macros anyway. Oh, the front flip with last stream, that was unintentional. You know, yeah, like speed attack animation cancels have just never been my style of gaming. I've never been good at them, and that's probably why I don't like them. Because I'm bad at them. You can call that a skill issue if you want. I try to have tracking that's good enough to make up for it. And if I miss fewer shots, then I don't need to take as many of them. So that has been my philosophy towards bow combat in every game that I've played, is I will just keep practicing and trying to get my tracking better. Yeah, that's the idea. Of course, now I'm saying that and feeling self-conscious about how many shots I missed in this. So, like, I don't want y'all to think that I'm like, yeah, I'm so great. I'm like, I try. Okay, I'm doing my best. Yes, what a lovely sunrise. And I need to eat. I get rambly like this when I am... but the conversations have been so great, and I've really enjoyed this. So, yes, so for the month of August, I am making the attempt to stream, multi-stream every Sunday afternoon. And if this goes well this month, and the multi-streaming, Sunday afternoon multi-streaming continues to go well, as it has gone so far, thank you so much, everyone, then we will add this to the regular schedule. So this is as much about whether or not I can maintain this as about figuring out, do the folks on YouTube enjoy it or not? So let me know what you think. And if you're watching on Twitch, hang out for just a minute. We're going to find someone to raid. We'll find a Soulframer to drop you off with. But if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I'll be back with a new video on Thursday. So until next time, happy hunting. Okay, and then